Hi there. That's okay. While they're doing this, we can give you the symbolism of it. The single candle in the middle is called the Christ candle, and that represents the God consciousness, the universal consciousness, that energy, that force, that spirit from which we all come forth. And the candles on each side, 7 on each side, represent all the different diversities that Unity Temple embraces. And so we light those in honor of not only the one power and the one presence, but in each and every one of you. Can you imagine 108 years ago when exactly the same thing happened? A group of people gathered together, and for the first time, they elected a board of directors to head up what was called then the Unity Society of Practical Christianity. And this was down at 9th and Tracy in the original building. I don't think that any of them had the vision or the imagination to think of something like this coming out of their beginning. But this is the legacy that they left us. This beautiful temple and all the wonderful services and things, it has just grown and evolved into a beautiful place. You know, breaking news this week informed us that the way we, and when I say we, I mean humanity, the way we have always thought about the nature of our world, the nature of the universe, and existence itself, the way we have always thought about it is wrong. The standard model of the physical sciences is Einstein's theory of relativity. And that quite simply states that nothing can go faster than the speed of light. Now, this isn't a science lesson, and I'm not going to inundate you with a lot of complicated information, but what I'm going to say can have a profound effect on your life, because the nature of the universe is the nature of you. So nothing can go faster than the speed of light. Yet a short time ago, scientists propelled a tiny little subatomic particle called a neutrino. They propelled a neutrino from Geneva to Gran Sasso, Italy, through a chute 454 miles. And that little neutrino arrived at Geneva 60 nanoseconds faster than the speed of light. So what does that mean? That means that that neutrino arrived in Geneva before it left Gran Sasso, Italy. Scientists all over the world raised their voices and said it can't be. Nothing can go faster than the speed of light. So the scientists did the test again, and they did it again and again and again, and they got the same result. That the neutrino actually arrived in its destination before it left its departure. How can that be? Only one answer, and that is time travel. The neutrino was able to leap into the future. So when I was telling my cousin Ozzy about this, and I told him very much the way I just shared it with you, and he patiently waited till I got to the end, and he said, "So what?" I said, "So what? So what?" It means that the entire theory of relativity is wrong. And it means that all the sciences, biology, chemistry, astronomy, that are based on that theory, they're wrong. It means that our view of the nature of the universe is wrong. It means that everything is wrong about how we think the universe works. And he said, "So what does that mean to me in my life?" And that was a good question. What does it mean? What does it mean to all of us? Now, for the scientists and the other people that study highly intellectual and esoteric scientific things, it left them with confusion and complexities, conundrums, that left them with their brows furrowed and their lips pursed, scratching their heads. And from the science community, there came this giant collective oops. I guess we got the theory of existence wrong. But so what to that? It's not the first time it's happened. Brilliant minds of the past believed that the earth was flat. They believed that the sun revolved around the earth and that the earth was the center of the universe. Our entire history has been one thing after another of getting it wrong. And that is reason for joy and celebration, because when we realize that we are wrong, immediately we realize that we are right about something. You can't realize that you're wrong about something without realizing that you're right about something. And that's a giant step forward. That's a progressive step forward in life. Now, the universe itself is the way it is. It is the way it has always been. It hasn't changed. Universal principles are just as dependable and just as immutable as they ever have been. The earth is exactly the same as it always has been. The neutrino didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's been around since the beginning of time. It's 14 billion years old. Nothing has changed around us except for our thinking. We think differently. And who knows where that will lead? Now, the same is true when it comes to your life. Life is what life is. It doesn't change. It progresses forward based on certain principles. Some principles work. Other erroneous thoughts that we have don't work, but life is what life is. And although it isn't always easy, life is always simple. Life is designed so that everybody and everything can get it. Nobody is left out. Quite simply, you have wants that need to be filled. You have desires that you want to realize. And you have values that you want to see present in your life. When your wants are filled, your desires are in the process of being realized, and the values are present in your life, you're content. You have a sense of well-being. You're at peace with life. When your wants aren't being filled, and your desires aren't in the process of being realized, and the values that you hold to are absent from your life, you are discontent. You're in a state of distress or unrest. So the question is, if we're in that place, and perhaps you're in that place now, where life just isn't working for you, where you don't have what you want, your desires aren't imminently coming into your life, what you value is absent. If that's the case, then why? Have you ever been in that place where life just doesn't seem to work? Or are you in that place now, and you think that there's nothing that you can do about it? Perhaps you think life cheated you. Or perhaps you think that life is unfair. It's like everybody else's life is working for them. Why not mine? What is going on? When we go through continued states of not having our wants filled, our desires gratified, or our values present in our lives, the existence that we're living shifts from pleasure to pain. It shifts from attraction to life to repulsion to life. And so why is that? Once again, why is that the case? You think maybe God is punishing you because of something you did? Because of something you are? Maybe there's just something about you that irks God. Is that the case? This brings us to the theory of the itchy itch. If you're living a life where your wants aren't being filled, your desires aren't progressively being realized, and values are absent in your life, that's like having an itch that you can't scratch. It's worse than that. You know how bad it is when you have an itch that you can't scratch. When you have an itchier itch that you can't scratch, that's a life of misery. You all know that. And so when we don't have our wants filled, we don't have our desires being gratified, we don't have the values in our life that we want, that's like having an itchier itch that we can't scratch. Now, would God do that to you? They did it once. God did it once to Tantalus. In Greek mythology, Tantalus was a very, very gabby guy. He talked a lot, on and on and on, incessantly. about anything to anybody at any time. Anybody here have someone like that in their lives? In one of these sessions, Tantalus accidentally let out some secrets about the gods, and the gods got very, very angry. They punished Tantalus by placing him in a pond of cool, fresh water that came all the way up to his chin. There was a tree nearby, and its branches, heavily laden with all sorts of different fruit, reached out and hung over Tantalus' head. But every time Tantalus got hungry and he went to grab the fruit, the tree branch whisked itself away out of his reach. And every time he went to get some water, the water receded, so he couldn't take a drink of it. The gods tormented him. Or perhaps a better word would be they tantalized him, a word that was coined from his condition. So back to you. Is God punishing you because of something you've done, because of the way you are, because there's just something about you that leads God to the point of tantalizing you? Is that the case? Is that the truth? And I might not know you well, I might not know you at all. But I can absolutely and unequivocally tell you the answer to that question is no. It's absurd. It's insane. It's ludicrous. There is not a deity out there looking down on you, taking action to bring misery into your life. Life is just what life is. God is spirit. That spirit is present within you. That spirit provides for you whatever you need to live a comfortable and fulfilling life, just like it does for every living thing. Every animal, every bird, every fish on the planet has what it needs to live a comfortable and fulfilling life for what it is. It's the same thing with us as human beings. We are not quirks of nature. We're not outside the realm of nature. That is the nature of our being. We have what we need to live a comfortable and fulfilling life. That God spirit within you is not a foreign invader. It is a loving presence. It always provides and never withholds. It is always present. It is never absent. It is always caring. It is never uncaring. It is the essence of your being. It's the life force within you. It's the power of the Spirit within you that provides for you. So that means that if we're living in an existence in which we're not comfortable, we're not being fulfilled, it's not life's fault. It's just that we haven't learned how to work with life in regards to the situations and the circumstances that we're facing. And it's very much like Einstein's theory of relativity. They thought they knew one thing, and they were wrong. And that's why a lot of things weren't working. They discovered another thing, all of a sudden everything began to come into place. See, when you commit to a particular belief, like Einstein's theory of relativity, every single conclusion you come to has to be twisted and turned and molded and mangled to fit into the theory of relativity box. You know, if that's the main truth that they hold in the scientific communities, everything has to fit into it. And if it doesn't fit into it, it's not the truth, and they have to continue to research and discover. It's the same thing with us. If something isn't working in your life, it's because this belief system that you have twists and turns, molds and mangles everything around you in order to fit into what it believes, because it doesn't